Okay, there we go. But so this year we're going to do, we have a Google slide presentation. You can go to the chat section, and as any questions come up, please go ahead and send us the chat, and we will answer them either as they're coming up or at the end, or we'll message you and say, you know, that's kind of pertains specifically to your child. Can we go ahead and wait for that, and we'll set up a meeting to talk to you, or we'll text you guys tomorrow.
And you can either chat, I'll be monitoring the chat, so you can either send it directly to me by changing the after the to section in the chat, or you can send it to everyone, which is the default.
Perfect. And then as we're going through the training, if your pictures are on the right-hand side and you can't see the text of what I'm saying, you can just kind of, well, if you're on a computer, you can use your mouse and kind of move it around so that you can see better. But everything that's on there, we're also going to be talking about. So basically, we're putting this training together so that we can all be on the same page. We feel this year more than any year, it's really important for us all to be on the same page and kind of have the knowledge of what our policies and procedures are. And then if you have any suggestions, questions, or anything to add, please let us know. We are doing our very best to make this a great program and keep everybody as safe as possible, but we love the input from everybody, and we're still gaining knowledge from doctors and people who are outside of our wheelhouse. So we welcome comments, suggestions, all of the above.
Whatever information you have and that you feel like might pertain to us, we appreciate your insights, because everybody kind of has their own little circle of where they're gathering information. So you might have information that you think would be helpful for us. So please share those things. A little bit about ourselves. That's my family on the left. I have 4 adult children. My youngest is now 19. No, yeah, 19. My youngest is 18. My oldest is married. I'm a grandma. I have a grandbaby who's now almost 3 months old. My oldest and her husband and baby live in Davis. My Ashley is the next one. She is getting her PhD in behavior analysis in Nebraska. The one on the far right is TJ. He's getting his MBA in Sacramento. And then my youngest is a sophomore at Santa Barbara. We've gone through the schools here. We love this town. We love the school system here. And we're really happy to be a part of this community through the Treehouse at this point.
Do you want to tell people your background for people who don't know?
That'd be good. My background is actually in physical therapy. I was a physical therapist for 30 years. I worked in a number of different settings, but kind of settled into neuro in the end. I did work with pediatrics along the way. I also grew up, my mom owned a business very much like this one. And so I grew up as she was growing that business and worked as a teenager in that business. And so that was kind of the beginning of my introduction to this business. And then with my children and looking for what I wish they had, that kind of drove me a little bit into this business.
My family, that's me with my 2 children. Molly graduated, she was a graduating senior in 2020. She is headed off to University of Oregon at the end of September. Lots of mixed emotions with that. And then Matt is almost 17. He is a rising junior. And again, my kids also, like Janet's, have gone through the school system, and I am a huge proponent of supporting our public school system and everything that it brings. My background, my education is in child development. I have my undergraduate and graduate master's degree in ECE, early childhood education, and have been in lots of different programs. It's always been my life's work. And then the last few years, I've become a adjunct professor at community colleges where I'm teaching ECE classes as well. Jan and I jumped into this, I don't know if most of you know us, but we jumped into this really not knowing each other very well. And we were at an event and I said, hey, we should buy that church across from Wagner and start a childcare center. And we laughed about it and went on our merry way. And a few months later, we got back together and we're like, you know what, we really should do that. So we bought the church, remodeled it, and have not had a calm day since. And lots of smiles and memories, and really are very happy that we can bring this to the Winters community. So let's look at our staff moving forward. There's a slide that's further, but I'll jump ahead with that. So for those of you who don't know, we have paused our license at the clubhouse, and we are renting out that whole site to Robin Benson, who does family home daycare. And we've moved all of our programs over to Treehouse. So we're super excited to have Susanna as our full day preschool teacher. Destiny is going to be the kinder teacher for children who are not participating in the distance learning. Angela will be kinder second and supporting the distance learning. James will be second through fifth supporting distance learning. Jillian will be pre-K, I will be pre-K, and then Janet and I will also be floaters. So Janet will be the primary morning floater, and then she and I will switch off in the afternoon. This is the cream of the crop staff. We're super excited to have all of them back and feel like they are an awesome group to be joining us, and are super excited for the programs that we have to offer coming up.
And then what's great about combining the two programs, the way it all worked out, is we are able to accommodate every staff member who wanted to come back. So the only teachers that are not coming back, they're choosing not to come back. And then for various reasons, most of it's somehow related to taking care of their families. And then we're also able to accommodate every child that wanted to come back. So the numbers worked out really well for us to do this combining and putting it all over at Treehouse right now, which was a big relief. We were really worried about how that was all going to play out, and it's played out really great.
We do have some open spots. So if you know people who are looking for care, we do have, we can accommodate. So let us know.
I think we did this whole slide.
I think we did too. Oh, that's me.
Can you advance this to the
Sorry.
next one? So we really feel strongly that it takes a village, and we like to be part of that village and helping raise your children. And this year more than ever, we really feel like we need that family, that extended family, in taking care of each other. The way we're looking at each pod, so each group of children has one single staff, and that's what we're calling a pod. So the full day preschool is a pod, the kindergarten group not doing distance learning, that's pod A, kindergarten through second doing distance learning is pod B, and then pod C is the second through fifth graders. And then the pre-K class will be divided into two pods. Each pod we're really looking at as an extended family. So that becomes part of your child's bubble. As we're referring to bubble as like the people that you are having contact with through this, since we're staying separated from so many others. And we want you guys to know that we really care about you, and we care about your families, and we want to help you. So if there's something that you're going through, or something that you think we might be able to help you with, whether it be you can't get your child to go to bed, or they're not eating breakfast, or whatever it is, please use us and ask us for help. We have lots of resources and lots of ideas, and a big bucket of tools that we would love to help you with. So just let us know if there's something that you think of that we might be able to help with.
So our philosophy is that kids grow from the inside out and from the top down. That's kind of where we start our philosophy. We also believe that kids need a lot of freedom in their choices of what they're choosing as to do. So like what we like to do is set up invitations for kids and let them take it as they see it. So there aren't certain sets of rules. Like take the example of the picture on the left of the kids on the slide. So Emma was going up and Kaylee Marie wanted to be going down. Well, we don't have a rule that you have to be going down the slide. Our philosophy is that kids can work out the problem. So Emma's like, I can make a bridge, Kaylee, does that work for you? And then Kaylee was okay to slide down. We do feel that we look outside of the box for our philosophy a lot, and are hoping that the children that are under our care are challenging themselves in ways that they wouldn't on a regular school day. I don't have any notes up, so I'm just winging this.
Oh, okay.
just so you know.
I can fill in.
Okay.
We also look at each child as an individual. We're going to look at where they are now. So whether this is for all children, whether they're in preschool or a fifth grade, we're looking at where they are right now, and we have a vision for where we want to go, and we're going to take small steps to get there. So we don't have expectations that they can complete the second grade assessment when they're on their first day of second grade. There's a whole 9 or 10 months to get there. So we're going to figure out where they are, and we're going to start there, and we're going to take small steps and move towards where they need to go. Also, a very big piece of our philosophy is kindness. We value kindness, and we teach it in a very purposeful way. We expect kindness. However, we know that children make mistakes, and when we see a mistake, that's an opportunity for us to teach. And then with kind of one of the pieces we're super excited about this year is we feel like we are going to be able to impact children in their love of learning and for them to feel successful in learning. So we will be working very hard for them to have positive academic experiences throughout their day with us. Next slide.
So like I said earlier, we set up our curriculum as invitations to learn. So like this picture on the right where Riker has a bunch of flowers, we don't have an idea that he needs to cut it at a certain spot to fit in the glass so that he can make a flower arrangement. We have glasses out, we have water, we have scissors, and sometimes the kids cut all the petals out and sprinkle them in the water, and that's okay. Other kids are more intentional and want to have a bouquet, and so we help them with that. If you go to the picture in the middle where the kids made this giant thing of slime, and then they wanted to see how big it is, well, they're only so tall, so we want to make it bigger, so go ahead and hop up on the table and see how tall we can make it. So all of these ideas are kind of kid created, and we as the teacher are there to help them facilitate it. So if they're sitting there saying, I wish we could get taller, then the teachers are saying, well, what do you need in order to do that? And so if they say, well, we need to stand on a chair. So they stand on a chair and they're like, we want it to be taller. So then they say, well, what do you need to do? And they're like, well, can we stand on the table? It's like, sure, let's stand on the table. Children are not allowed to stand on the table and jump around for no reason. But if there is an intention and the teacher feels that it's safe and helpful, then we go ahead and do those type of things.
And then our hope is the children come home, and when you ask them what they did, they tell you that they played all day. We would love for their learning experiences to feel very playful. And so just know that in their play, we're very purposeful in setting up and making sure that they're having opportunities for fine motor skills and having opportunities for all those pre-academic skills that they need. And the social skills and the emotional skills, all of those things and the motor skills are all worked into how we provide these invitations to learn. Cheryl, do you want to talk about the example of the project-based learning, the circus?
Oh, is that here?
That's where it says it, yeah.
Let's talk about it when we go more to the distance learning group.
All right, I'll make a note.
Okay. We really, the foundation of the treehouse is centered around social emotional development. If there's one pivotal piece that Janet and I feel so strongly about, it's the social emotional development of every single child within our program. And when you have that social emotional development, all the other parts fall into place. And so that idea of kindness and problem solving and treating children as individuals and all of those foundational pieces all fall under the umbrella of social emotional development. And we worry about kids over the last few months through this pandemic and not being able to hug their friends and sit and be a part of these groups. When you look at these pictures, this is what our life was before. And we know that kids are struggling, and families are struggling, parents are struggling, we're all struggling. And so we're super excited to be able to open our doors to as many children as we can fill it with to bring the social emotional development back. And so this will be a critical piece. We're gonna start slow and really build the kids of where they need to be and really fill their buckets. so that there's other adults who are filling it, because there's kids, you guys can